Hey everybody, Jeff Antoniuk here. Welcome to Digging Deeper Jazz. So today I want to talk to you about your practice laboratory. You need a practice laboratory. And no, I'm not talking about the room you're sitting in or the acoustic treatment of the wall or anything like that. I'm talking about the place you're going to do your evil jazz experiments. You need a laboratory for what you're going to be practicing. Now here's the thing. What you practice, the stuff, you may think like, yeah, the internet's filled with stuff. All I have to do is go to YouTube, go to Google, and I can find a million jazz licks. What to practice is not a problem. I'm gonna say it's actually a huge problem. For all of you out there, almost everything on the internet, millions of licks and pages and lessons and videos, they don't apply to you. They just don't. Where you are at today, if I could hear you play, I would be able to tell, yes, those 100,000 things, don't spend time on that. That's not time well spent. So that's what you need, is that judgment. You may think, oh, wow, we live in this great age with the internet, so much information. That is the problem with the internet. Too much information and not enough sort of culling it down to what we need. But that's not what today's video is about. That was me on my soapbox. Okay, so I'm gonna get off the soapbox. Here, we're not talking about what. Let's assume somehow you've run across a lick or a comping device, voicing, a bass line, whatever it is you want to get into your playing. So now you need to do some experiments with it. So now we have to start talking about how you're going to practice. How are you going to get this thing going? So just picking the correct thing is really fraught, I will say. And so most of my students that come to me who have been plateaued for years, people come to JazzWire, they've been sounding the same for 5 years or 15 years, and I get them going in 2 weeks. How does that happen? It's because we quit working on things that are not appropriate for us, and we start addressing the one or two little blind spots that we probably have. And they're blind spots, so we can't see them in ourselves, right? Ask any successful person how they got good. Talk to a CEO, talk to a parent, talk to a school teacher. What's the first thing out of their mouth? They're going to start telling you about the help they had, about the mentors they had. They're not going to say, oh yeah, I figured it all out on my own, easy. No, you never hear that. You don't hear that. Okay, so let's say we know what we want to play. So now to get it into our playing, how we practice that thing is really the most important part of your practice, and that's what I want to talk about today. So the idea now is I want you to start working on whatever you're working on, that rhythm if you're a drummer, that voicing if you're a piano or a guitar player, in the context of music. Songs, actual songs. That is the important thing. Don't work on things like really almost ever out of the context of music. The sooner we get something into music, the better. Okay, so I've got a PDF, by the way, for this video, as I do for all the videos. Love to send it to you for free. And on here are some great laboratories matched up with some great experiments. So I'll explain. So if you've ever opened the Charlie Parker Omni book, all alto sax players certainly have looked at the Omni book. It's transcribed Charlie Parker solos. Back in the early 80s, I had my Omni book. Still have a copy of it. And if you ever saw 16th notes in the Omni book, almost always it was Charlie Parker playing a classic lick. And it was always in E minor to A7 on the alto sax. It was a 2-5 lick. And Bird, genius that he was, he really only ever played that lick in that one key. Kind of interesting, right? He knew where it fit. He knew his sweet spot. That's where he played it on the horn. Now, here's the thing. Let's say that's what you want to be working on. Now, how do you work on it? Where do you work on it? So you may think, well, geez, my band is playing So What? The Miles Davis tune, So What? What a great place to play it. My thought is actually, not so much, because there are not any 2-5s in that tune, right? How about, well, I like playing Blue Bossa. I could play it there. I would say no, because there is only one major 2-5. So it would work, but is that the best laboratory to work on that? So what I'm talking about is matching up songs with the device, the lick, the rhythm, the voicing, whatever it is you're working on. Start getting good at matching that up. So I have as an example here a tune by Gigi Grice called Minority. It's a fantastic tune recorded by many of your heroes, but it's a little off the beaten path tune, but it's one you should know. It's a great tune, only 16 measures long. And if you look at it, you're going to see it is filled with 2 5s. Look at measure 3 and 4, G minor to C7, a 2-5. Look at measures 7 and 8, another 2-5, C minor to F7. And let's keep going through the last 8 measures of the song. B flat to E flat, a 2-5. A flat to D flat, a 2-5. F sharp to B, G to C. So there are 6 different 2-5s in this short song, 6 of them in 5 different keys. So one key gets repeated. So yeah, wow, this is like a really rich place. Once you get that lick sort of under your fingers, and now maybe you've challenged yourself to learn it in some other keys, put it into this tune. So let me play an example what I'm talking about. So did you hear how in each spot where there was a 2-5, I stuck in that same lick, right? So I had to know it in those 5 keys. I think I played a wrong note in there too. So that is the idea. I figured out what I want to practice. I've determined it's appropriate for me. Now, by the way, how do you determine that? I said before, you can't really sort of trust yourself or your whims or the next shiny object on the internet. That's a problem. So that is what I do at Jazzwire. People ask me a lot, like, what do we do at Jazzwire when I come in to work with you at Jazzwire, which is, by the way, the subscription website. We've got about 250 adults from 25 different countries now. So this is what it is. It's based on material we want to learn and putting it into appropriate tunes. That is sort of the lion's share of the educational side. And it's colossal to match the correct thing you need to learn with the correct way you need to learn it. That is what all of education is. What am I trying to learn? What's the best way to do it? By the way, for me, because I learn different than everybody else. That's the deal, right? So this is it. So Minority is a fantastic song if you want to work on 2-measure 2-5s. So let's look at the sheet. 2-measure 2-5s. Well, the song Recordame by Joe Henderson is a great one. How about if you want to work on long half diminished chords? Another Joe Henderson tune, Inner Urge. Also the song Windows kind of has a cool moment in there. How about if you're working on chromatic chords? You have a lick that is in the context of chromatic chord changes. Well, yes, so you need to know a good song, a good laboratory to use. And so that's what I'm talking about here today. You want to think about what you're playing, you want to think about how you practice it. And to me, the how part is where everybody gets left off. And I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people sort of get out of the doldrums of sort of where they're stuck to get off that plateau. And it's almost always with this sort of little readjustment. So I hope this helps you think about it a little bit differently. Think about all those songs you know and love. Now think about the devices you want to get learning and connect the right ones with the right place. And if you're not practicing your new material in the context of music, drummers often are pretty bad at this. Yeah, time to get rolling. This is how to get better. So I hope you visit jazzwire.net and I hope you join us there. Use the code DiggingSpring. You'll get 50% off coming in. So I'm going to give you your practice plan, your evaluation, all that kind of stuff, 50% off that. And then you'll be inside the community. So if this is the kind of work you want to do, that's the place to do it. I hope this helps. I hope you have a great week. And I would love to hear comments on sort of your understanding of this, your approach to this, and if this is something you've sort of fallen on your own, and if it's worked. How do you know if it's worked? Are you better than you were 2 months ago? That's the question. And if you're not, something needs to be tweaked. We can help with that. All right, take care. I'll see you next time.